Kofi. She's a very passionate person, a mother of two, a wife, a hard worker. She never stops. And so I'm amazed to know you, and I'm sure many people here yes, would like to hear me. Wow. It's not. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's not every time I get treated so specially, but it's amazing to see that you all are here today because of me, because of Plasma of Hope. I like words, but I have so much to say, and I have just put them down so I don't start crying. So I'm just going to read a little something that I've written, just to give you a background story of why we're here today. And unfortunately, some people are not here that are mentioned here, but I'm just going to acknowledge them. Madam Mayor, Councillor Nawaz, who is on his way, Councillor Hibbert on her way, Fwaze Dr. Asa, where are you? Yeah, somewhere around. Distinguished guest, welcome. I want to again sincerely thank every single one of you as you join us today for the official launch of Plasma of Hope. I will be sharing with you today the backstory of Plasma of Hope, our journey for the last few years, and where we're headed. For those who don't know me, my name is Marie Claire Kofi. I'm married to Clyde Kofi, and we have two boys, Jason age 6 and Noah age 3. I was born in Cameroon with sickle cell disease, and growing up as a child, life was very different as compared to my friends. But I knew I was different because I was always sick. I was constantly being admitted and faced several life and death moments. But I was made to feel very different. I was made to feel that living with sickle cell meant that my life was short-lived. It didn't matter. Living with sickle cell meant that I was told I would only live up to the age of 21 or 22. I grew up with so much stigma. It became so normal hearing the terrible things being said to me. I was made to think that my condition was so bad, there wasn't any point in aspiring to be anything. Even some of my teachers, gave up on me because they said, and I quote, I was a waste of valuable space, and that could have been given to someone healthier that would give us 100% NGC results. But the only people that believed in me were my family, my mom and dad, and my siblings. That alone was all I needed to keep going because I lived past that age that was labeled on me. I traveled to the UK and the perception was so different. Not far from it, but much better. I tried to live a normal life, but every time I made a new friend, especially with the opposite sex, I was reminded of some of the stigma that I had left behind. Every time I got sick, every time I had a sickle cell crisis, that would end my friendship. And because in all honesty, when we are in a crisis, we are totally different. And it takes a brave man to understand and not fear. But in 2007, I met my husband, Clyde, whom I was quite reluctant to be friends with. But the guy was so persistent, I gave up. I had lost so much interest in taking any relationship seriously. So I told my friend whom I was living with at the time in London, I'm a broke student, let me just be nice to this guy here, he's got loads of money. Unfortunately, when I got to know him, dude was a hustler and as broke as me. It didn't work, my plan didn't work. So the long story short, I realized that he really liked me. And I decided that before I went any further and start falling in love with him, I better tell him about my situation. But to my surprise, after I told him, unlike all the other guys, he was intrigued and wanted to know more. That alone made me fall in love with him. This is not a wedding speech, I promise. I gave him a brief overview of sickle cell disease, my triggers, my challenges, and what happens and what he must do if I go into a crisis. He became my researcher. He wanted to know even more. He saw me in my worst moments of sickle cell crisis, and he stayed. I shared with him my dream of wanting to make a difference in sickle cell disease, but I had no idea how I was going to achieve this. And I fast forward this many years later, we got hit with COVID-19 and went into lockdown. It was a terrible time, I'm sure, for everyone sitting in here. I was shielding and I was losing my mind, and I just had a baby. I love the outdoors, and the lockdown was driving me insane, as I'm sure all of us here. Clive, my husband, decided to bring up the conversation again about me doing something inspiring with my sickle cell idea. He started looking into registering a charity, which is how Plasma of Hope came into existence. We were approved as a charity by the Charity Commissions England in August 2020, and by the end of the year we received a small grant from the National Lottery to be able to provide support to individuals and their families. I'm happy to say that we have been able to reach out to so many families and their individuals and their families living with sickle cell disease around Walsall, Wolverhampton, Sandwell and Dudley. We supported them during COVID-19, where most of these families were shielding. We coordinated with our dedicated volunteers to take some of our users to hospital appointments where they receive regular blood transfusion and blood exchanges. We assist them with prescription collection, providing befriending service, and give those living with sickle cell disease a platform where they could speak freely and confidentially about life and the mental health challenges living with sickle cell disease. We partnered with other organizations to provide training to some sickle cell warriors to find alternative and suitable employment. We organized holiday trips for children and their families and gave everyone the opportunity to talk and speak freely without shame about living with sickle cell disease. I stand here today in front of you all because my story, my survival, my experience has made it comfortable for me to learn and live freely. And I want everyone, not just those living in the UK, everyone across the world that lives with sickle cell disease, to make the most of their lives, however long or short that will be, because we're all going to die someday, and sickle cell disease cannot stop me or you from making the most of it and living your best life. I must acknowledge that the growth of Plasma of Hope has been instigated by some of the people sitting here today. And through their engagement, we have created many partnerships across the borough and beyond. I want to sincerely thank the Mayor for giving us the opportunity to come to her parlour and talk about the wonderful work that we do at Platinum Hope. Some of our partners are the NHS BT, the NHS Blood and Transplant Service, who we are working together to get more black people to donate blood, which is very crucial in the treatment of sickle cell disease. One also for literally holding our hands from when we started and continue to provide incredible support to Platinum Hope. As part of the work that I do, I was invited to be a board member for Health Watch Warsaw, an organization that strives to be the voice of the people, that supports the voice of the community and involves people and enables better decisions to be made by health and social care organizations. So what's next for Platinum Hope? A lot is happening, but the long-term goal is to secure an office. We are working with our partners at the council to secure a space that will become our office. Ultimately, that space will be expanded into a hub where we all can come together and share our experiences freely without shame or stigma. Where the children can play at a day center, where the community can come in for a drink and chat and learn more about sickle cell disease and how they can support individuals and their families. Thank you to all my wonderful volunteers, whom we will not be in existence if it wasn't for you. All the late night phone calls and the trips to and from hospital, I thank you very much. And I want to personally thank Jerry Hammond, my volunteer lead. I don't know what I will do without you. You have supported me personally and the organization in such ways that I cannot explain. You have got to learn so much about sickle cell disease, you can literally teach me. Thank you. To my local councillor, who is not here yet, Councillor Nawaz, who has been nothing but supportive from the day I was introduced to him, and he introduced me to the Lord Mayor, and they have been incredible in supporting me. I'm sorry for the many phone calls with problems that needed solving for people around Warsaw, and you have not failed me once. Thank you. Thank you to my colleague, my assistant, Betwell, who does wonderful work behind the scene. Your passion for the work that I do is remarkable. I am truly grateful. Thank you to all my friends and family for giving me the strength to keep going and doing this. I don't know where I get the strength from, but I know that there is strength somewhere that comes from all of you. Thank you so much.